All right. Folks, I'm extremely appreciative of the fact that you're all probably, if you were watching that Ulcerate show that I just walked out of, you were probably completely and utterly exhausted. That was unfucking real, but thank you very much for joining us. I wanted to take the next half hour or so, and then I'll open it up to some questions from all of you. But I wanted to introduce to those of you that don't know, one of the most interesting people I think I've ever met in my entire life. Someone who the first conversation I had with him, I hit it off to a point where we could honestly have carried on talking for 6-7 hours. A man I'm very proud to call a friend, and in my view, one of the best photographers working in any style, let alone just black metal today, the almighty NecrosHorns.
Thanks.
So I wanted to see if I could get you a little bashful at the start as well. Let's begin the conversation by talking about the NecrosHorns origin story. And when you and I had a conversation about a year ago, you were telling me about your days as a pilot and the near fatal crash that you were in due to an engine failure. So kind of set the scene for us around what life was like for you at that young age, and what happened, because I think it's relevant to some of the other extremes you've gone to as a photographer, the fact that you've kind of always been used to being in these crazy situations.
Well, yeah, actually, even not when I'm trying to get into situations like that, I mean, I feel probably I just like pull them like a magnet or something. So, well, that was in 2010, October, when I was working as an airline pilot based in Panama, doing an early flight. The after takeoff, climbing just to the other place where we're going to fly, the right engine got on fire. And, we did all the procedure, declared emergency. We have, there are systems in the airplane to activate the fire extinguishers that go directly to the combustion chamber of the engine to shut off the fire, and we activate both bottles that should shut it off, but the fire was still going on. Then I just thought like probably this is just like a false alarm. Then the flight attendant called us like, well, what is happening? I can see the right wing burning. So I was like, okay, it's very much real. So, well, the situation with that is we were flying back to the place where we took off in Panama City. And in the moment that the captain was flying the airplane, I was doing the emergency, like securing the airplane. The things got worse. Actually, we lost the hydraulic system because one of the pipes in the engine broke, and we dropped all the hydraulic fluid. So we lost part of the flight controls, that help us to slow down the airplane for landing. We lost spoilers, and many other things. And then, when I was doing the emergency, the captain was a really gentleman. I never hear him all the years say like a bad word or anything. And when I told him hey, we lost the hydraulic system, I was like, are you kidding? Can you restart it? I was like, no, we lost all the fluid. In that moment, he looked at me and said, motherfucker, this can be happening. I was like, okay, this is serious.
And that's the first time you'd ever heard him use profanity.
Yeah, exactly. It was the first time. And,
so that's how you knew it was
serious. I mean, I knew already it was a really tough situation because I have practiced that emergency in the simulator when I was in training in Texas. But one thing is in the simulator that, if you crash, you're fine. But the worst thing that happened is actually you lost your job because you should not crash in the simulator when you have already practiced emergency. But then, everything was happening simultaneously, and it was very rare for that to happen. But yeah, we managed to land, evacuate all the passengers. I got out of the airplane. The fire department came and shut off the engine. I went out. One passenger came to me, told me, "Thanks so much for saving our life." I was sitting next to the wing, so I could see all the fire. And I went for the first time to the engine, look at it, and I saw everything was completely burned. 100% at that moment. For the first time in my life, actually, I got in a state of shock. My hands started just shaking. People came to me, talked to me, but my ears got mute. I just see, but I could not associate what was happening. For around 5 minutes. And then, I respond later. I saw when they opened the engine to check everything, and then they told me, actually, it's a miracle that this engine didn't explode actually in the moment, because you have fuel leak that created a fire that broke the one of the pipe of hydraulic, and in the moment that everything mixed up, should have exploded. I was like, well, I'm here.
And I think what's incredibly important to note about this is you're not, in your 30s, you're 23 years old at the time
Yeah,
that this is
yeah,
happening.
exactly. I think I was 23. That was like 2010, I think, 2000, more than that.
So when your life is flashing before your eyes in that scenario, what are you thinking about?
Well, in that moment, you don't think about anything else. And you're trained for that as a pilot. I mean, honestly, yeah, as a human being, you can all definitely freeze, or I mean, that shouldn't happen, but definitely can happen. The situation is, in that moment, you don't really think about anything else, and you just get in like some sort of like tunnel vision that you only react to what is happening. I mean, you get 100% focused, and you have to react to what is going on in the moment. Then, after, when you're calm and the adrenaline have come down and you figure out everything that goes on, then it's like, what? Whoa, it's very intense. I mean, as you say, at a young age as well. One thing is when you're older and you have more experience in life. But I started in the airline when I was 19 years old, so I got to I developed very much like character because I was senior co-pilot when that happened. I was very young, but I was the next in line to be a captain already. So those kind of things, like, definitely, I mean, you're ready for it. I mean, it's not a nice thing to say, but I mean, that's what they train for, and they prepare you when you go to simulator.
Yeah. So how long after this incident until you decided that it was time for a reset? Because it's quite a significant change that you've made in terms of your career and what you've ultimately ended up doing. Now, like when did you decide flying was not for me? When did you start? When did you pick up the artistic side of what you've ended up doing?
Well, actually, I never decided that flight was not for me. That was when you get into aviation, it's a lifestyle. It's not really like a job that you have 8 to 5 or anything like Monday to Friday, and then you get out of there and it's like whatever. That's turned into a lifestyle, and that's the life that I knew, and that was what was normal for me. The situation is like we were going through many things in the airline that I didn't like. I was alone in Panama. My family was not living there. They were in Sweden. So honestly, I have, let's say, probably the issue that when I get into something, I go 100% for it, and I figure out that I start having a very lonely life. One thing is to be alone, and another thing is loneliness. I cut all kind of like social interactions. My life was my career for many years. My friends stopped talking to me because they got tired. Like, hey, I don't even reach out to you anymore because you're never here. So no one called. So at some point I said, like, well, at least I'm gonna get closer to my family. I'm gonna move back to Sweden. I converted my pilot license to the European, so I have European license as well after moving in 2012 to Sweden. But the job market it was very unstable. And for me, it's very important to have stability. I don't want to work for 3 weeks and then let's see what happens. So I started doing some other things. That's when actually I started getting free time for the first time, literally, in my adult life. And that's when I mean, a dream for me was to become a photographer. And even when I started NecrosHorns, photography was not the main artistic approach. I work with wood art, like painting with blood and stuff. Then little by little, I noticed that, I mean, I have to find a way how to show what I was creating. So then is when photography start playing a role on it. People start liking the approach that I have. Then little by little, bands were contact me like, hey, shoot the concert, shoot this and stuff, and people liked what I was doing. Some bands told me like, hey, do you know you have the eye for this? I was like, really? No idea. It's like, yeah, you have a good eye for it. I think you should invest in better cameras and start going with it. And I started doing it, and it came to a point in my career as an artist that I was like, I don't have time to do photography and wood art simultaneously. So I have to decide what I was going to do. And then I went for photography.
For photography.
But getting back to your question, it's not something that I decided to leave aviation. Like, this is not any longer for me. I'm not the kind of person that I quit. I actually, things in my life happened that took a different direction.
Yeah. So can you remember your first photo shoot? Like, the first photo shoot as NecrosHorns? Who was it with?
That was actually like the first photo session was with Valkyria in Sweden. They liked very much what I did, like shooting live. And Simon, now that he plays in Magic as well, he contacted me and said like, "Hey, have you ever done a photo session before?" I was like, "Not really." It's like, "Are you up for it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, we can do it." It's like, "Yeah, but let's give it a try. It doesn't work. Don't feel the pressure. Let's just do it. If works, works. It doesn't work, well, that's what it is." And well, actually, it went pretty well. Then the guitarist that he have another project called Siniestro, and then he asked me after that, like, "You want to shoot my band?" And then it just happened. It was like a domino effect. It was just one after the other, and people start seeing what I was doing, and people like my ideas, and yeah, it started working from there. So, but the first official photo shoot, and I have to say, I feel quite spoiled about that because Valkyria is a well-established band, and to start with a well-established band is a very very difficult process. Many people start like with smaller bands, like they're not even signed with a record or anything, and these guys are with Peaceville. So it was like, whoa, why not? Let's give it a try. It worked well.
In the early days, how did you get your name out? How did you raise your profile? Because you mentioned that Simon, for example, had seen your live shots. Like, what was how were you making a name for yourself before being able to do that first photo shoot?
Well, as I said, NecrosHorns didn't start with photography. It started with crafting on wood and painting with blood, and I started establishing a name with that. Then later, I mean, the first band that I worked was, it sounds fun, but Abigail from Japan. Second band that I ever worked was Archgoat. And since there, I started building a name with the wood art. So people knew who I was already. Then without thinking, start turning into photography. And then later, wood art was left behind, and photography was started being my main artistic expression. What is interesting about this is for that time, I mean, I don't do this for money, but of course, there's always money involved with everything. So when someone come and tell you like, I only play because I like to play. I mean, honestly, if you will never be playing all the time for free.
Yeah.
So there's always money involved. And wood art was the one that was giving me something, but photography was giving me nothing, literally. So even like that, I was like, I gonna kill the cow that give me more milk. Is that smart to do? I don't know if actually I will make it as a photographer. Yeah, I dream to be a photographer, but I never study. So to be a photographer, so I didn't even knew how to use a camera. I started just like playing around to see what comes out, and well, I mean, I took the risk, and that's part of my personality. I like to take risks in general. I said like, I'm gonna stop this, and I go with photography, and now it's way bigger than actually what was before.
Well, and the thing is, it also seems to be getting bigger every single year. Like, I think, we've known each other now for 2-3 years, and I feel like almost every sort of festival season, it's just bigger and bigger. You're in so much demand right now. You seem to be able to travel, and you do travel just about every other weekend. How do you juggle the demands of all that travel, and I guess the burden that it places on any kind of free time that you might have?
Yeah, that's a very interesting and difficult situation because there's a lot of sacrifices, definitely. But I don't see it as a sacrifice because I like very much what I'm doing. At the same time, I'm a highly motivated person. So I mean, how I cope with this, like to go forward, is sometimes I even ask myself, like, sometimes I wake up in the morning when I have to take like a flight at 6 in the morning, and I have wake up like 3 in the night just to get ready. It's like, I really fucking hate myself to be pushing myself through this. But then I like, well, this is what it is. Let's go for it. So I mean, it is difficult. I don't want to say it's easy, but when you are really orientated that you want to create something, you're willing to sacrifice things. Unfortunately, sometimes you sacrifice too much. There are things that probably I kind of like regret because, as I said, I can get when I get into something, I go full for it. I don't like to do things halfway done. I always think it's like if I gotta do it halfway, I'd rather not do anything. So it's like or you do it or you don't. And I push for it. I push. I mean, as you said, it's growing. I see it very well. I feel it also. He put a tool over myself as well. Physically speaking, I pay the price with my health as well. It's not really something that is only bringing me positive things. Also, the tool over the body, how you worn out and stuff is very difficult. But then comes the part that I feel like, as I said, I'm motivated. I am ambitious, but not ambitious in a way like, oh, I want to do this because I want to buy a Ferrari. No, it's not that kind of ambitious. It's actually to feel that I'm moving forward. I'm developing better technique. I'm shooting better. I'm creating more. I'm pushing more the boundaries to see how far I can get or what is the limit that I have today. But tomorrow I have to cross that limit because I always have to go forward and forward. I feel like, and so.
And you are absolutely one of the most self-critical people that I know. And even this morning, we were having a conversation about the photo that you took of Bruno last night. And you're like, I said, wow, this is fucking incredible. You're like, really beautiful shot. Oh, I don't like it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I like it, but I prefer another photo actually. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I always say, and many people take it in a wrong way that I'm a negative person, but I'm not a negative person. I'm realistic. And the worst critic that I have in myself. What I do with this is what happened. When I shoot a photo, I don't look what I did good because I know what I did good. I look at what I did bad because I need to improve. I've seen photographers that have been shooting way before me, like 20 years, and they're stuck in the same place. But when they take a photo that actually they like and they're like praising themselves, like, look what I did, this photo. It's like, yeah, I see right away like 10 mistakes. It's like, but then I see the next photo of the person, I see the same mistakes. And I'm like, you didn't really look at what you're doing wrong. I look at my photos and sometimes, yeah, I feel happy sometimes like, oh shit, this one came out good, I like it. But at the same time, I start looking like, no, there's a lot of wrong things here that I can improve. Sometimes people don't see it. Sometimes because they are not a photographer or they don't get the artistic expression that I have or different reasons. But I know that I can get better. And I have this way of thinking that the photo that I do today have to be better than what I shot yesterday and worse than what I'm going to shoot tomorrow. Because I shoot some bands like, for example, Cult of Fire or Darvasa. I shoot them many times, and people sometimes come and tell me like, you already shoot Darvasa like 20 times. You have to shoot them again. I was like, yeah, because I want to shoot a better photo this time than what I did last time. And that's the reason, like, people think sometimes it's just doing something just for doing it, like being like a machine without feelings. I feel photography is art. I don't consider myself a photographer. I consider myself an artist, and photography is my medium of work. It just, but unfortunately, as photography is so mainstream in the regular day by day of everyone, many people take the phone, take a photo, and yeah, you're taking a photo, but are you creating art with that photo? It's the same, it's quite of different, for example, other mediums of art, like someone doing the sculptures. But someone is doing a sculpture, it's not just doing a sculpture, it's creating art. People don't take the cameras to create art. People are focused only in taking a photo. And that's when everyone literally fails. Because you're not creating something that, honestly, it's like making a building. Like if you create a regular, like rectangular building that you see, most of the people just see it and forget it. But when you see, for example, the Grand Hotel here, it's a building that you see it, and let's say you love it or hate it, it creates a feeling on you, and you will remember it. But the rectangular building that you just see one day crossing, you forget it completely. Your brain deleted it. What that means, it didn't create any feeling in anyone. I don't want my photos being the average photo that is on social media. I want my photo be something that I feel that capture emotions. People sometimes focus on the wrong thing. It's a nice photo. No, it's not a nice photo. It has to be art. And
you
people
have
don't
to have that emotional connection.
exactly. And I want, for example, people that do not know metal or the band that I shoot. I want that when they see that photo, say like, I don't know the band, but I can see there's a lot of energy and emotions over there because that's what I aim for to capture. And that's what it comes the artistic expression about how you are capturing things. Many people do not understand that. And they're just thinking, just go to the pit and start like, taking like thousands of photos and something good is going to come out of it. Yeah, probably. But was intentional or was just a shot of luck? I don't like to do shot of luck. I just go there and I wait for the moment. I evaluate the moment and I try to capture what I feel, what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm in the front row when there's a band that I like very much and I headbang it with the camera in my hand and I go take the photo and continue headbanging. It's because I'm feeling emotions, I feel the connection. Many people don't understand that. People just want sometimes like, oh, I'm gonna shoot this band because if they share my post, I'm gonna get like 20 followers. Who cares? In the moment that you stop thinking about that and you start thinking about creating art, you're gonna get millions of more followers. I mean, millions, I'm exaggerating, but you're gonna get way more. And people will start seeing that you're an artist, not just a regular guy with a camera. That's what separates things, and people don't really understand that.
You mentioned earlier about looking at different things on photos and spotting mistakes and stuff like that. Like on any of your photos, what are some of the key elements that you're looking for in a photo for you to say, I nailed it on this one?
First, emotions.
Yeah.
I want the photo to express something. Second is texture. I want to feel that you can, if you will touch the screen, you will feel texture. I want that. Some people make a mistake that I see that because of course shooting black metal, for example, is very complicated. You have low light, you have a lot of movement, and that's a perfect combo for a bad photo. But then people shoot a blurry photo and apply so much noise reduction that it looks like a cartoon. I hate that because I feel life is not a cartoon. I want life with texture and contrast. And that's what I aim in my photos aside of the emotions. And I feel that, and also I try to think outside of the box. I don't like when I see a regular photo just straight to one person, just like that. And it's the regular angle that everyone do. Once having a conversation about with the ex-drummer from Cult of Fire, he told me, I don't really know how do you do it, but I've seen hundreds of photos of my band, of my band of Cult of Fire, but when you shoot the photo, you go like, you search the face behind the candle and stuff like, who thinks about that? I mean, yeah, stick up, it looks amazing, but how the fuck do you come up with that? So yeah, the thing is, because I'm creating art, I'm not creating a product photo. A product photo is just something to look sharp and nice. Like you can put this there, take a really nice photo that looks perfect to sell a product. But that photo is not art. I want art. That's what I try to aim for.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been repeating myself, but it's like it's the main thing behind shooting. And that's what people don't understand sometimes.
It's also something you're extremely passionate about, and that really comes out in your work. You mentioned something very interesting to me when you were on my podcast, which is you don't try and take 100 shots. You're always just looking for the one perfect shot. And that to me, I think it immediately was to me a distinction between what you do and what, so many other photographers do.
There's two things that I always say. There's two types of photographers. The one that I compare to be a ghetto guy with a machine gun just shooting at random and trying to get a shot. He will put 100 bullets and probably one will get the kill. Or is the sniper waiting for the moment. Be the sniper. I don't go to a concert and I shoot like 1,000 photos of one band in 5 minutes. There's no point. My post-production will take me forever. I don't have time for that. And how many bands are shooting here? Are playing here tonight? I mean, it's impossible. Like if I go and shoot 1,000 photos per band, it will take me forever. Plus so many SD cards and everything. No, screw that. First, the other part is like, I mean, if you plan your shots, it will simplify too much your work. It will be way easier. So it's always good to just plan what you're doing and go for it.
Yeah, and be in the moment.
Exactly. What you're feeling when you're doing, you don't need thousands of photos.
Yeah. So we started the conversation talking about extreme situations you've been in as a photographer. I think one of the most extreme situations that you were in was the events surrounding and after the Darvasa photo that you took on the Via Dolorosa in Israel. The very famous, and if most people potentially won't immediately lock onto what I'm saying, but it's the very famous photo with the hands around the throat. Just in my view, one of the definitive black metal photos of the last century. I don't think that's an exaggeration. Talk to me about how the idea came into your head about doing that photo, and also like how you weigh up the risks of doing something like that, because that, I mean, that is something that could easily have landed you in a shitload of trouble.
Well, when I first got booked for the festival in Israel, I was like, I thought about taking a few days to explore Israel, and I've always, I'm consider myself an atheist in my personal life, and I thought like, I mean, and I grew in Panama, that is a very much Catholic country, and I hated how like religion was always pushed down your throat, like you have to worship. If you're not doing it, I mean, I don't drink alcohol, I don't do drugs or anything like that, but I was always put up like as a really bad influence just because I was an atheist. And then when I got the opportunity to travel to Israel, I was like, I want to do something very provocative, in a way, not really to insult religion, because honestly, I find in a way like, I mean, I have my time in life where I was like, oh, fuck Jesus, or fuck this, or fuck that, or whatever. I just gonna take a Bible and I'm gonna burn it, and stuff like that, or desecrating holy photos or images. I mean, but honestly, I find that, I don't want to say I find it quite childish, but it's very easy just to do something like that. But I wanted to go to a place that is very religious and stand up and show like I'm free. I don't follow your dogmas, and I'm gonna do something very that it impact. I was never thinking that photo was going to get that much attention. Honestly, I never really thought about it, but I just thought like I want to do this. I reached out to some bands that they were supposed to play in the festival, and they didn't even reply to my messages. It's like, okay, I have this idea already. Like I have a quite of like blurry sketch in my mind about what to do. Then when Darvasa was booked, it's fun because then Bjorn approached me and said like, I want to do something provocative in Israel. And I just looked at him and was like, finally an other idiot like me that want to do something like that.
So had you approached him about doing it?
No, he
So
approached.
so it was him
No,
that it was just like
he
two
didn't knew I
minds
have this
connecting.
idea.
Yeah.
He didn't knew and didn't never talk to him about it. But he approached to me and said like, you're gonna be there, let's do something provocative. I was like, fuck, that's what I've been thinking, but everyone was just saying no. So then people ask sometimes like, who have the idea? Bjorn or you? We both have the idea without talking to each other. So actually that make it quite special because it was not me going to him like, it's my idea, or actually, yeah, he approached me, but I was thinking, I was working on that already, but I didn't have anyone that was there to do it. So then he showed up. So yeah, that's the way actually the how was born about that, to do that session. Um, as I said, he have the also about wanted to do something provocative. Then when I was in Israel, we were talking with a promoter because I've never been to Jerusalem before. I didn't know what to expect about doing something like that. Probably was going to be something very easy, maybe not. I don't know idea because many things when you see in mainstream news put it up like these people in this place are all evil. But then you go there and it's the most friendly people that I have just seen in the world in your life. So I didn't know it was just like propaganda or probably like maybe it's just chill. But when I was there, I was like, I'm gonna ask locals that they know how it is because they've been there, and everyone told me, well, he asked me where you wanna do it. I was like, he first said like, well, probably it can happen. You can probably do the shot, but it could be dangerous. Where are you planning to do it? And I say Via Dolorosa, and he was like, fuck, don't do that. You're gonna get killed. And I was like, nice.
Yeah, go
That's
do it
where
at
I
the
want to do it.
beach, but not there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like nice. That's where I want to do it. So it's like, well, you have to be very careful because you will have everything against you. There, I was like, that's that's good. Let's do it then. I look at Björn and was like, show me. And I was like, fuck off. Let's do it. It's like, yeah. So we went for it. So that's how. I mean, yes, we calculated the risks, things that could have gone wrong. We definitely talk a lot about it. This is not a kind of photo. Every time that I'm gonna shoot someone, I always talk with them. Doesn't matter the kind of environment where it is. I try to connect with the person, establish mutual trust, for the person to feel more open in front of my camera, and I feel more comfortable with this person opening towards me. That's with everyone that I shoot. So I don't like the sessions that are like, hey, I just meet you. Let me take the camera, take a photo of you. That's it. Boom. No, I like you to feel comfortable. So we engaged like in conversations. We knew each other already, but we talk a lot about it. We talk about the risks. We talk about what could go wrong. He told me at some point, like, hey, if the shit hit the fan and someone do something to us, just get out of the way and I take the hit. And I look at him and it's like, we're here together, we go down together if something happened. He looked at me and said like, fuck you. I replied, I'm like, fuck you too. So, and then we smiled and it's like, yeah, we go for it. So, yeah, I mean, we talk quite a lot. I try not to think about that. It was the last thing we were going to do when we were in Jerusalem. We went out for a walk. We enjoyed visiting like the Church of the Holy Sepulchre with its Golgotha and all the things, just to explore as well because I wanted to be a little bit of a tourist. But I saw right away that Bjorn was kind of like pushing a little bit for people to get triggered. So I was like, he's probably getting in the mood.
On the photo, I mean, he's in full, corpse paint. He's dressed like he's about to go on stage. The great thing about the photo is the timing of capturing the woman's face as she's staring at him in absolute horror. But like the way that you guys shot it, it was almost sort of the way you described it to me before. It's kind of like a hit and run. He went out. You guys, you guys grabbed the shot in literally a couple of minutes, back in the car, and off you went.
Took 30 seconds the whole shot.
30
the whole
seconds.
session. Yeah, we went in and took 30 seconds. Since he got in front of me, I put the camera and started shooting. And I put down the camera and we left. It was 30 seconds. So when you see the session and you look through when you look the files, all the photos are taken. We came out like approximately with 5 different photos. All of them were shot in a range of less than 1 minute. So they are in the same minute, all the photos.
So let me ask you a question. Where does that rank amongst the most extreme lengths you've taken to get a photo that matches your vision?
In which way you mean? Like if I feel that there's something like that I have done that is more extreme?
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, probably this is the most complicated one, definitely. I have shoot complete different things, not in an environment that you can get killed, but in a way like it's been a challenge. But not in a way like, I mean, worst case scenario, someone come and can tell you like, fuck off. Or that you probably can get arrested for a while, but not really that you're gonna get beaten up and arrested and be in a military prison and someone will come from your back, will stab you, or throw you a rock or kill you. Not in that way. I have done different things. For example, I mean, when I shoot in the Arctic Circle, it was -7 degrees. It was really windy, really tough conditions when I did a photo session for Hexacell. That was a really tough photo session, but it's different kind of extreme. It's not the same. I mean, also last year I had the opportunity to shoot a band Imperialist in Vasquez Rocks in California, in Los Angeles, and yeah, it was. I hate hot temperature. Even when I come from a tropical country, everything over 10 degrees I suffer.
Yeah.
And it was like boiling hot. I mean, we all got kind of like sunstruck, like dizzy and stuff for the temperature. So it's a different kind of like extreme way of shooting. It's not really that someone will come and shoot you
Yeah.
and kill you.
Yeah, you're not going to be thrown in the back of the van.
But you're definitely struggling.
Yeah.
I mean, with Trivax as well. This last year in December, we went to a place here in England and we did a photo session. Weather was fucking horrible. It was like extremely windy. It was cold. It was a storm at the moment. The place where we shoot, actually, it was when we got to the place. They even have the place was closed. Then we have the people that guard the place also live there. And then they were like vigilance cameras in certain spots. And I was like, this can go wrong. I mean, they can definitely call police or something. They see trespassing. But even like that, we searched for blind spots where to jump the fence and shoot.
I have also heard rumors, though, that apparently Trivax, particularly their frontman, Shane, I think his name is, one of the most difficult people to work with on the face of the earth.
You heard right.
Not really, actually. It's very. We're friends, so it's very easy to work with him.
Yeah. Well, it was he who introduced us. So yeah, I think it's a triangle of evil. Final question for you, and then I'll let folks ask some questions of their own. If you had to say the single most important lesson you've learned as a photographer, and for anybody, if someone's sitting here and they want to take up photography themselves, the thing that you believe is the most important, the game changer for them, what would you say that is?
You mean like to change how you get
to level up your game?
Shoot as much as you can. Shoot what you like. Create a signature. And what I mean, I talked about this before actually with Cheyenne. What I mean I create a signature is not about put a watermark on your photos. Is create art that when people see the photo can know right away that it's you without seeing your name on it. So create a style. Yeah, you can get inspired by other people. Don't copy other people because if I want to hear Iron Maiden, I will hear Iron Maiden. I'm not gonna check the cover band. I will check Iron Maiden. So that's the point, what I mean with this. You create your own signature. And actually, I don't want to say that I was the first person to start shooting people like bands in a backstage, like with a black background. And many people actually start doing that now when they have probably seen the exposure that I have got with my work. Nothing wrong with it, but at least if you're going to do that, learn before you do it.
Yeah.
Practice a lot, develop technique, and create your signature. Because what I mean with this is like I see people like shooting this, and honestly, I even see photos of the band. So it's like you're asking a band that they're probably giving you the trust to do it, and then you come with a photo out of focus. It's no excuse about that, So learn before how to do it. Don't just go and do it. It's just practice. And when you feel that you have something, like look at the photo and think, it's like, if this will be my band, that I will publish this in my album. Have self-critic. See what you have done and feel like it's not good enough. If you feel that it's very good, then, well, I mean, the market will say later when people will not want to shoot with you.
Yeah.
For example, so instead of closing doors too fast, learn first. And then, I mean, it took me to be where I am right now. It took me 11 years. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to work a lot. And then you will start seeing people reaching for you. But if you've been shooting for 20 years and still you don't have even an album cover or your photos in an album, you're doing something wrong. That means you don't have a signature. And people are not really seeing your work like, I want to be associated with this. Probably you're going to see it on Instagram. Don't aim for Instagram. Go for the album. But get too comfortable is too dangerous sometimes. So I feel like that's the main thing.
And I think a lot of times, actually, I know I said that was the last question, but just a comment. I think a lot of times, social media likes and validation can give people a false sense of their own importance, or a false sense of accomplishment. And I would imagine, especially in your line of work, like, somebody posts a photo of a band that a bunch of people like. I mean, they could post the most god-awful photo on the face of the earth of that individual, but just because people like it, they just sort of scroll by and, there's a picture of Bjorn from Darvasa, there's Blasphemer from Ruin. I'm going to like it. Scroll on to the next thing. It doesn't mean just because you have 500 likes on a photo that is taken of somebody that everyone likes doesn't mean that you're a great photographer.
Exactly. Sometimes people think like just because they're liking the photo because it's a good photo. Sometimes they're liking the photos because the person that is in the photo.
Yeah.
And that's what comes up, like who have the most followers on social media sometimes. They're taking selfies. And I'm not gonna say it's bad, but they're just not creating anything specifically. It's just a bunch of guys that want to like the girl. So that my point with it is like, it's not really that it's a great photo. They're just liking what is in the photo, but you should not aim for that.
You're saying the Instagram booty avalanche isn't art. Can't believe it.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, and that's what I mean. It's like, don't aim for social media. Don't aim only for Instagram. Aim for the album.
Yeah.
So when you start seeing your photos printed, I love to see my work printed. Yeah. So when I start seeing like, oh, thanks for the vinyl, and Cheyenne gave me yesterday the new album from Trivax that have my photos. Happy about that. Today I got the album from Abduction that have my photos. I'm happy about that. That's what I want to see. I mean, for social media, yes, it's good for exposure. It's pretty good about that. But you have to think bigger. Not get just like, oh, they share my photo on their Instagram. No. Yeah, it's good. It's nice. But aim for more in life. Don't get just comfortable with it. Yeah. Because otherwise you will never advance more than just, they share my photo.
Yeah. All right. We've got about 5 minutes. Does anyone have any questions for NecrosHorns?
So you mentioned at one point before shooting a gig, for example, a concert, to prepare yourself to be able to get that sniper shot, so to speak. Is there any specific type of preparation that you do, like researching the band, researching their live performances, what it is that they usually do throughout their live performances and so on? Or how do you tackle that?
There is a lot of elements to actually do with this. First of all, check the venue where you're gonna shoot so you know which kind of lens you're going to need. I mean, it's very different to shoot like here in the big stage than shoot in the Ocean Room, or two different venues. I personally, all the festival, I've been using only one lens. I don't feel I need any other, but that's what I want to aim for, and that's what I try. There comes the part of preparation about your equipment. There comes the other preparation that is deeper and way more difficult and many people don't really understand, and that's something I apply very much psychology on everything in my life. Before I actually studied to be a pilot, I wanted to study psychology, but I didn't. But I apply this in everything in my life. And then comes this part. When you're gonna shoot a band that you haven't shot before, you need to understand how the band react on stage. How do they move? What happened is, let's say, we as humans, we don't really think about that, but we have the tendency to repeat the same movements often. If you see one band, for example, today on the stage, probably the same band tomorrow in the tour will move literally the same way. And that's when it comes about prepare to get the shot that is a sniper. When you have studied the movement of the person, you can predict what they're going to do before doing it, and you just wait for the moment. I have one photo that I did of Dark Nocturne Slaughter Call, that of Onielar, that was 2020 in Sweden. That photo ended up as a poster in the latest albums in the repress. That photo, what I did is, when I was looking at the band, I figured out that in the moment that she stopped singing, she had very, very long hair back then. In the moment that she stopped singing, she did this movement, and her hair got like a wave all the way down. And I look at it, I was like, this is what I want. So I went to one side of the stage and I waited literally one entire song just waiting for the light perfectly match the moment that she actually did the movement. And I was just waiting. I have the focus point what I wanted. I have the angle what I wanted, and I just have the trigger slightly pressed. And the moment that she did a movement, I pressed. I only got one good shot from that moment because many times it was like I waited for the moment. She did the movement. I pressed the light blink. No photo. It's dark. Fuck. Let's wait again. So I waited and waited and waited until I got the shot. What happened? That shot, I didn't need 300. I only have one. But then comes a joke that I say, like the Lord of the Rings, like one ring to rule them all. It's one photo to rule them all. You only need one. You don't need 300. And that photo end up in the album. So that comes part of the preparation, psychology behind it. Study the movement of people, predict the movement before they do it, and snap the moment. That's how you do it. That's why I can go to the front row, headbang when the band is playing, and then I know what they're going to do because I already studied what they have to do. And then I stop headbanging, do the shot, and continue headbanging. And I got the shot. But it's because you study. So it comes psychology behind it. I shouldn't be telling this to them, and then everyone's going to get my shots later.
Giving away your secrets.
But it sounds complicated, but then when you have the passion and you actually start like how far you want to go with your work, it pays back. It's a lot of work because sometimes you have to watch videos of the band before you're going to shoot them. But it's what actually will bring you to the shot that you desire.
Right, we've got time for one more. Gentleman with the cap.
Do you prefer doing live photography or do you prefer doing like album cover photography?
I don't have preference. It's completely two different kind of shots. In which way, when I'm shooting a band on stage, I have absolutely no control of what they're doing. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I wish I could go there and tell them like, can you move slightly to the right and then do it again? No, I can't. So actually, it's two kind of different challenges. I enjoy both of them in different ways. With the band on stage, it's very cool because then they are just being themselves and portraying what they want to portray. And my job there is to capture it. I like that very much, but also I enjoy very much when I'm doing a photo session for a band, like outside of the stage, because then I always tell bands like, if you're reaching for me, it's not only for me to take a photo of you, it's also you're reaching for my creative aspects and my style. So then I'm gonna capture your integrity how you want it, but at the same way it's gonna be in my way. So then I have more control in the shot. I decide the light. I tell them move to the right, move to the left, lower your face, so I change things in the photo. So then it's very much about my idea. Because the camera, I always say, it shoot two ways. It captures you, but also capture my essence in the photo. That's things that many people don't think about. But it actually helps you like to get a better shot. But I enjoy both. I cannot tell you what I like most. With some bands, I like more to capture on the stage than maybe in sessions. Some others, I like more the sessions than on stage. But 50-50, I will say.
Thank you very much. NecrosHorns, it has been a pleasure as always.
Thanks so much.
We will do many more of these down the road. And as I said, I'm such an admirer of your work and very, very happy to call you a friend. So great catching up with you as always. Thank you so much to everybody that came out.
Thanks so much.
We will be back again in 2026.
We will?
Fuck yes, of course. And enjoy the rest of Fortress Festival.
Thanks. Thanks so much. You're amazing.
Thank you very much.